olunaku lwa leero bw'otambula tambula ng'ensingo giwanise waggulu, tambula ng'oli confident. Era kozesa nnyo kamera yo, bw'obakwatirako kozesa kamera yo. Njagala evidence eyo bassebo ne bannyabo. Tugenda ba communicatingira enamba kwe mutera evidence eyo. Museveni buli kyakola okutandika n'olwaleero okugenda maaso. In fact okutandika n'ejjo. In fact okutandika n'omwezi oguwedde. Buli kyakola abatuwa bujulizi, abatuwa evidence. Kyetubasaba mutuyambe mu bifilming. Kyekisooka ekyokubiri temuba na kutya. Buli kyakola abatuwa evidence. Nakyogera ng'asaaga era nkiddamu naye ku luno nga sisaaga n'akamu. Nti olunaku lugenda kukya nga Museveni wonna we bamukwatira bamukabajjeeke. Era mbasuubiza nti mu bulamu mu lifetime yammwe mugenda kulaba ku Museveni ne mutabani we n'abo be mulowooza nti bakitalo nnyo mugenda balabako mu kaguli k'ekkooti y'ensi yonna nga batebya ebikolobero bye bakoze ku bannayuganda. So nyina essanyu bategeeza nti kati abo abatemu bali mu kkooti y'ensi yonna.
Mwai Museveni bino byatulugunyiza bannayuganda, byasibye abaana b'abantu, byassa abaana b'abantu, byalemaza abaana b'abantu. Saawa yonna empanama emwabikira n'akomba ku mpeera y'ebyo bye yeekulembereza okukola ebbanga lyafugidde eggwanga lino. Ennaku z'omwezi nga 24 Saturday wedde yasisinkana ICC Chief Prosecutor. Oyo bwe yajja abatazze nti bazze kunywamu kyayimba oba aleese bizinensi. Oyo bwakyala kibanga gwe side bwakyalako ewuwo abatazze kwebaza mirimu mu society. Kitegeeza ayina investigation ezazzo carrying out. Muzimu ku mirimu gya ICC Chief Prosecutor ku carrying out investigations ku war crimes, crimes against humanity, crime of aggression. Ebintu byonna ebyo Museveni byagenza akola bannayuganda oyo biba bimuleese. Naye njagala weebuuze nnyo omusajja ono kyekiba kimuleeta e Uganda nga recently ennaku z'omwezi zaali 15 Febu nalabanga Mau agenze n'amusisinkana. Mau Minister of Justice amusisinkanye. Kati ate after those days ate ennaku z'omwezi nga 24 nojja nosisinkana Museveni. Kitegeeza aganze to njagala gwe Museveni tonsindikira bano bakakyere ba Mau kuba kati weebuuza bw'aba asinsinkanye Minister wa Justice ennaku z'omwezi nga 15 ate n'alabikako nga ze ennaku z'omwezi 24 nga ze Uganda. Kitegeeza aganze nze mukulu tonsindikira bano bakakyere bw'oba tosobola kujja nze kanesitukire nejjire mu bimu ku byakola ye investigation abataleese business. Kati olwo monitor nekuba egezaako kola PR ereme kuwaawaza matu bannayuganda kuga nti omukulu bazze ne bamukunyakunya nekuba mawulire ndi ICC Chief Prosecutor ze asinkanye Museveni ku nsonga za koni esaawa eno ng'era asisinkana koni mukaseera koni we yakyakira n'asalako abaana b'abantu amatu ne bagamba koni simanyi yasazeeko abakazi ennyindo, simanyi koni yasazeeko abakazi susu. Why now? Bagezaako kola PR baleme kulaga bantu nti why eno omukulu abazze abakulu ba ICC bali mu mukunya. Gwe Minister wa Justice n'omusindika n'agenda ne bimulema lagato dabo kututano bakakyere kati ffe katujje najja nga mujja mutuga abati discussing koni esaawa eno koni gwe tutakyawulira nako wadde. Ate tomulaba ne smile n'obeera overtaken n'ogamba omusajja gwe tulaba ne smile bikyalaika yalese business bayine be badiscussingako oyo ye muzungu. Kino asobola okikunyonyola ye muntu atambuddeko. Omusajja wa polisi asobola okujja n'akukwata n'akuhandolinga mu ngeri ey'obukakamu. Excuse me Mr. Uptop, you're under arrest. Politely. N'akukwata nako ku mutwe ng'akuyingiza kabangali entweto gibatula. Watch your head. Akutwale bulungi gwakutwala nga wenna akutwala mu mbeera esinga okubeera nga yabukakamu. Muli n'olowooza nti waayi we bantwala ndabika nzira ng'olinga gwe batwala ku beach kumbe bakutwalira ddala. Asobola okujja n'akuwa parking ticket nga bw'asimilinga gwe n'olowooza bw'onaamunnyonnyola engeri gy'asimilinga ambu ali understanding bali professional tebalinga bano ab'ewaffe. Oyinza omulabawo ng'asimilinga naye ng'ategeeza business. Kati oyinza omulaba ng'amwenya ne Museveni nemwoza nti tayinza kubanga abo be bazungu. Akutwala bulungi nnyo mpola awolerezo naye nga ye akola mulimu gwe naye nga tayagala gukola nga bano ab'ewaffe ayagala okuteekako kifeesa ate azze okukola arrest owa investigation. Si bwe batyo bwe bakola. Kati omukulu waali gamubuguma eno Kyagulanyi effect. So ba comrade trust the process and hang in there. ekintu kikola omusajja waali naye abo tebakyala tebazze mbu simanyi bazze ebyo bya simanyi mbu simanyi byakoni kuki naawo oyo omukulu after all of these documentaries ezisaturating okubeera nga amaze okulabisibwa emashariki n'emagalibi yembeera eno eriwo kati notunuulira abajegajiga abejegewaza simanyi azinyamu firimu documentary bino Museveni bye yabeerangaawo ng'atulugunya bannayuganda nga teri amanyi kamera zimulabisizza simanyi kino ekintu bwagenda kukisimatoka kamera kyezimukoze kubanga ebintu byalikodingibwa in real time nga bwe byali byennyini simanyi bwagenda kubyetikkula eno Kyagulanyi effect ogimanyi ogenda kukola otya mukwano buli wamu kati ensi yonna ekumanya ebikolwa byo eyo documentary ekulabisizza eduniya yonna toyina bwogigulirira toyina bwogenda kugyetikkula va ku bino biri bye wakolanga n'osasulira abasajja abandi badde bakutwala mu bantu abandi badde ab'omuzinzi noga nti kati ono bwe ndaba ng'agenda kundabisa kamugulirire gwegenda ofune shares mu Tololo Cement oyo n'omuwa shares ogw'omumwa n'oguzikiza eno documentary toyina bwogenda kugyetikkula mukwano mitawaana myerere Mwai Museveni salamu alaikum
we focused on Museveni. Isn't the 215 evidence enough? You seem like you need more evidence in order to, back up the case. Is it the case?
Well, I think that we have enough evidence to make the International Criminal Court say there is a case here to investigate. Remember, our job at this early stage in the case is only to show the court there's enough here that the court should come in and investigate. Then the court will do its own inquiry. So our job is only to give the court a taste of what's out there, to show the court that there's enough that has happened, enough torture, enough brutalization that the court should launch the investigation. I think we've shown enough for that. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think we've done more than most cases do when they first come to the ICC. But remember, JB, it takes the court time. All judicial processes take time, and the court's going to take many months to go over this evidence. But in that time, the government now has to behave itself, because if it uses violence and torture in public, at least, and guns people down or beats them in protests, then the court is absolutely going to act. So the government now has to be on its best behavior. Now we're seeing the results. People are no longer afraid to come out. Look at all those huge crowds that were no longer scared. They were no longer General Museveni. This tells us what the rule of law can do. And I think people in the government also, in the NRM, are starting to understand that all of this violence has to come to an end. That this way of running Uganda is old and has to change. And so I think we've made a lot of progress. Those huge rallies are a sign of that.
Having talked about the 215 that they are enough to make the case, the last time we were here, actually, after the show, very many Ugandans were actually in need to know how safe is this evidence, these affidavits at the ICC.
JB, let me say this. The International Criminal Court takes very seriously the need to keep things confidential and to keep them secret. When someone signs an affidavit to the court, that does not ever get disclosed by the court. And in any communications, the court uses a code to deal with these affidavits. When a person signs a statement to the International Criminal Court, that statement is secret, it is confidential. The one guiding principle that the court has is absolute privacy. People are free to communicate to the court, and it will never disclose that information to the government of Uganda. That is an absolute. And everything you send to the court is safe. And let me tell you this, if people send statements to us, to the NUP, to me directly in America through the email, those statements are also safe. We will safeguard those, and when we send them to the ICC, they are kept secret, and there's only a code used publicly. No name and no location and no house is ever disclosed publicly. So, JB, I will say to the people of Uganda, the ICC is a safe place. And if you have something to tell them or tell us, you should feel free to send it. And I can even give my email address if you'd like, for people to send to if you'd like me to.
Actually, I wanted to ask you that if there is an official link or the platform, because I believe very many concerned Ugandans would love to submit in more evidence. Please, you can go ahead and read it out. I'll also type it down in the comment section so that they can copy it and share it among themselves.
Okay, well, you can always write to the NUP and go to any NUP office or NUP person. You could also write to me at bruceafran@icloud.com. And that's my name, BRUCEAFRAN @icloud.com. And if you have a story of torture and abuse, we want to know. And we will then make sure that the right people come to you and we put that together in a witness statement. So that's one address people could use. They could write to me at bruceafran@icloud.com, and we will forward that to the team. And we have a confidential system, and we have people outside of Uganda who can put together the documents. So it is a very safe system.
Thank you very much for that, because very many people were asking me about that. And I'm asking this on behalf of, human rights defenders, activists, organizations, non-government organizations, and all that. What is the process of initiating a case at ICC? What does one need to go through, the steps, and maybe if you can expound more on the type of evidence and how to file it? I believe there are concerned Ugandans who would love also to drag the same people or other individuals to the International Criminal Court, because the courts back home, of course, you know the story.
Yes. Well, JB, that's the first test. Can the courts back home handle these cases? If the answer to that is no, then the ICC can step in. So that's the first step we use to show the court. We show the court that there is no real due process anymore in Uganda because the government controls the courts and threatens the judges. Now, in the ordinary case in Uganda, sure, the courts work, hopefully. But in a political case of torture, they don't work because the judges are often too afraid. And so what happens is people are charged, the judges want to release them, and sometimes do, but then they're immediately put into the military courts. So they never get out. They can stay in for a year or two at a time, never get a court date. We've shown all this to the ICC. And this is the first step, showing the ICC that the Uganda courts can't.
ICC, finally, thank you. We submitted information about Samia and Museveni. And finally, ICC has answered our prayers. They have agreed to investigate and charge Samia, Museveni, and the UPDF soldiers. Sooner or later, we are gonna get justice in East Africa. ICC has agreed. And as we speak, they received all the information we sent them, the pictures, and soon or later, East Africa, you're gonna get justice. Not just in Tanzania, you're gonna get justice in Uganda, because the dictator Museveni and his son, they are the one who sent UPDF soldiers to shoot innocent Tanzanians. Thank you, ICC.